So today we are having breakfast. We've been up for about an hour now. Yep. Had a very small breakfast, a little bit of tea, a little bit of coffee, except we're hungry now.
Yes.
And we want, what do we want? What are we going to make today?
We're going to make breakfast burritos.
Breakfast burritos. So, one thing we should talk about, so the Jetboil's got an attachment, which is right here, which fits on the burner. And so we can actually use the Jetboil like it were a traditional stove, or, well, like another stove, I guess, right? Because a Jetboil's advantage is it's like a combined unit, but this allows us to use a pan, and so we have the Jetboil system, like for boiling water, but we also like to cook with the Jetboil. MSR's got some nice products like the wind burner, but for us, the wind burner is just a little too big.
Yeah.
If we had taken our kids and stuff, we'd definitely use a wind burner, but for us, we'll take 2 chimneys with a Jetboil, one Jetboil furnace, 2 chimneys, and that allows us to basically make everything we want to make in the field.
Exactly.
All right, let's start. So I'm just changing the Jetboil and the configuration so it slips into this thing. Notice how it says this side up. So the idea here is the plate's going to be off the flame. This is plastic apparently, and if anything's too close, the flame will just burn the plastic. But if you take the pan, we'll take a side shot here and put it on this angle, the pan is up away from the burner, and so it allows us to change this system into a really, really nice cook system for very little weight. So I've got my Jetboil pan. It doesn't have to be Jetboil. Really, this is just an aluminum pan. What I like about it is the spatula is excellent, and it fits right in the side here. And so we're going to start with some powdered eggs. Let's cook these eggs. And we're going to need bowls, which we've got. So I'll set the bowls here. So these are just powdered eggs. We've got about the equivalent of 4 eggs worth of powdered eggs here, and I think 1 egg is 1.5 tablespoons of egg powder. Now, egg powder is not the greatest, but when you're in the field and you're going for any lengths of time, it's pretty good. So we need to add some water to it, and I'm not so worried about adding water to the eggs because the water will boil off. The pan's pretty hot. So, but what we're going to want to do before we start is I want to turn this on. This is the piezo igniter, and I saw a spark. There we go. So I've got this on. I'm going to add about the same amount of water into the eggs here before this hits the pan, and then I'm going to start swishing around so they rehydrate.
Now, are powdered eggs hard to find and to buy?
They're not particularly hard to buy. I got to turn this down too. They'll cook too much. We're going to lower heat. They're not terribly difficult to buy. You can get them on Amazon. Key is you just need to add enough water. Sorry, you asked me are they too hard to buy?
Like hard to find in the store.
Find. I honestly don't know. I get mine. I got these on Amazon. I found they're affordable price. So I don't 100% know. If you can source them, sure. You can make them if you want. I mean, I think they're just heat's too high. So this is interesting. If you take a look here, you'll see the bottom starting to stick and like congeal. A little too much heat. Dial that back. I'm gonna add a little extra water though. So yeah, they're starting to scramble already, but you don't want too much water. You don't want too little. And they sort of chunk up. I can feel the heat coming out of here. A little less. Okay. What we don't want is the bottom of the pan to burn, which much easier to do in a chimney for a jet boil, but this is a little more difficult. So get some crusties there. Egg stuck to the side. Wipe those off. And already we're starting to see the egg turn into a scramble. And so there's some tricks here cooking on this stuff. If the pan gets too hot, just take the pan off the heat. It'll retain heat for a little bit and then you go right back on. What I'm aiming for is some big curds. I know you can change the consistency of your scrambled eggs by cooking it less. I find I like it like in the field anyway, not at home, but in the field I like my scrambled eggs so that they are really cooked and there's no water in them, or very little water into them. In other words, they look like an overcooked scrambled egg that you'd have at home. And already we're starting to see that texture. So you can see there's some orange bits in it, yellow bits in it. I think the orange bits are actually some of the pieces that didn't 100% rehydrate, but it's fine. It's all going to end up in the same spot. We just wanted to make sure it's got a nice, consistent cook. It's not wet. Very spongy at this point. But it's looking, I think it's done. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut the burner. Okay, so next we're going to cook our ham on this very stable platform. Fryer wraps. Heat them up so they're nice and hot. Okay, so that piece is done. Piece is done. So really it's just some sort of making a little blanket so everything stays warm. So we've got 2 tortilla wraps. So I normally fry these, but we're actually going to try a little trick. It's different. It's my first time doing this trick too. But we're going to build a wrap. So what we want cheese definitely on the outside.
Yep.
Two pieces of cheese, right?
Yes.
So I do like American cheese as it melts.
It does. It's delicious.
And I like cheese on the outside. What I like about all this too is you can just really throw it together. It is a fast meal and it's probably better than McDonald's. So we're doing this. So this is our fat. You need fat when you're hiking for energy. Not to mention, because it's made of milk, it's got all those other things you want in it, like protein and electrolytes and all those things. So 2 slices of ham. Three slices. What, 2? I also brought some bacon. So this is a really hearty meal. And we're going to take some eggs. I'm going to steal some eggs out of this. Okay, that's about half a portion. Okay, so the beauty of this now, so here's the trick. Parchment paper. So what we're going to do, I'm going to roll this up right in here. It's actually already warm. Roll this up. My burrito's breaking. Let's try this again. So roll this up. It's a big burrito. Okay, I've got it in here. And it is definitely rolled. I'm gonna tighten it. And then what we're gonna do, same thing here. Now, I can actually bake this. So I'm gonna do it with them both. And I want it real low. Almost so that it's gonna burn out low. And so now, what I can do is actually lift this up a little bit. I actually want the heat of the pan to do the work, but I don't want it too hot. I want this going as low as I can possibly get it. Even that is barely going. So this is good. So if I think things are going to burn, I mean, I can always... That's a hot pan. But obviously, I know what I'm doing. I don't mind touching pans, you know. Like, I just turned the heat on. I wouldn't want to touch a really hot pan. You'd burn your finger. But yeah, this is an interesting way to have essentially a nice hot grilled meal using a jet boil, which most people wouldn't even consider. But again, you need the add-on attachments, which I own, and you need to do a little bit of work. So we probably want to flip this at some point here. And if I feel this side, it's warm, and this side's warm too. It's really warm.
Now, when you buy the jet boil, does that attachment automatically come with it, or was it something you had to purchase separate?
I had to purchase the attachment separate. I know you can get them just about anywhere. They're not expensive, the attachments. They're probably about $10. The pan, you can get any pan. You can get an MSR pan, you can get a jet boil pan, but the pan I find is really nice because it's light and it's got like a finish on the inside where it's no stick. I don't know how they do it, but providing you use the right tools, a plastic tool, and I've got my little pouch to keep it safe when I backpack. Providing you have that, it shouldn't scratch and start to stick. But yeah, just like, I mean, if you think about it, you've got everything here. You've got a stove. When you use the regular jet boil, really for boiling water, but we like more than just boiling water for our food. We like texture, we like flavors, we like building things up. I'm not going to say I'm against putting water in a bag to eat out of it. A lot of people do it and they enjoy it, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. My preference is to make a meal because I enjoy making meals. And the other thing I would say is if you're backpacking and you could eat a little better, why wouldn't you do it? You know, like. So I'm assuming there's a rehydratable meal that somebody has made that has egg and cheese and whatever in it. I can't imagine though it's going to taste quite like this. Plus we've got salsa to add into it. You know, like it's just going to be a good meal. Plus it's going to be toasted.
Yeah, we do it up.
Yeah. Like this is. So now if you'll take a look at this, so this is a very interesting tell. When the paper starts to brown, it suggests anyway that underneath starts to brown. Now the issue is we get a little bit too much parchment paper, and maybe it's not browning underneath. I can always check. But you know what? If what we're aiming for is actually not to toast it. What we're actually aiming for is a burrito that's hot when you eat it.
Right.
I think for the most part it should be. We cooked most of the elements anyway. This morning's chilly. I think it's 13 degrees Celsius, which we can do an update and put on the screen. But it's nice to have a hot meal. And the other thing is like this is dead simple to clean up. We've used already all of the all the ingredients other than the salsa. And to pack it out, it's just a few empty wrappers and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be good. So I think it's probably ready to eat at this point. Let's take a look at one of these. I don't know which one's which. So already I'm seeing some good stuff that I wanted to see. Look, it's toasted already. If you smell it, it is like glorious. So what I want to do, check the insides. It's hot. This thing is actually almost too hot to hold. But what I do want to do is add salsa. Now, which one did you want? Did you want that one, the bigger one, or the smaller one?
I'll have the smaller one.
Okay, so I'll take this one, put this one back in here. That's all going to stay hot. This one's a little heavier. Actually, I think this... Is that one the bigger one or smaller one?
I can't tell.
So the cheese is melted. The bottom's toasted. So take a look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's a good toast job. So everything's melted. I'm gonna have a little salsa. Put a little salsa on this. Cheese is melted, completely hot and nice and warm. Roll this baby up. Actually, I'm gonna use my parchment paper. Eat it.
How is it?
It's good. So it's not super hot. I mean, this is a big burrito. So if I had to do it again, I'd probably leave it on there a little longer, but I mean, it was toasting up.
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting all the good flavor. So I taste the bacon. I taste the eggs. We didn't put any salt or pepper into the eggs. They could be seasoned, but we've got salsa, which helps with the seasoning. So there's like a lot of seasoning already added to it. But it's a good burrito. Again, I'd probably leave that on there double the time. But to me, it's a great little recipe, great meal, better than you'd ever get in the backcountry. I mean, other than cooking bacon and eggs fresh, you know, and carrying all that stuff in. These are just light ingredients. Some of it is already pre-cooked, like the ham and the bacon, and pre-done up like the cheese slices, and you just put it all together and cook some eggs, and you're good to go. All right, so that's it for the breakfast burrito. I hope you enjoy it. I know we're going to enjoy it, and so I guess we'll see you at the next recipe and the next time we're cooking.